Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast number 2324, A Vibe and a Possibility. So today started off normal. I had to get up early for training. It's a normal, it's Friday here, so Thursday back in the States. Yeah, that's right. So on Thursday mornings, I get up. So on Friday mornings here in New Zealand, I get up extra early because I have a Q&A session to do at 6 a.m. That was followed by a meeting at 7 o'clock. Then I had, but between the two meetings, I got, one was only half an hour. The other one was, went till 6:30. So I had half an hour to break. And then I had a meeting at 7 o'clock, which went till 8. And then I had an hour before I had to get on chat. So that was pretty cool. But chat was a little busy in places, but mainly it was a fairly quiet day on the chat, which being a Thursday is kind of typical. But the exciting part is that at 2:30 this afternoon, which is why I am late in getting on here, is we had a viewing at a property to rent. And it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. It's got a single car garage, but it also has a carport on the side of the garage as well. So we'd done a drive-by there a few days ago, on my birthday. It's like Tuesday or Wednesday, we went and did a drive-by. And then Dad took us down to where the track was, and Mum and I walked across the bridge and stuff and listened to the tui. So that's on a podcast we did a few days ago. And that was after and the house looked, it needed some work on the garden and the grass and all that. But we got a chance. The tenant was in there busy packing. She said she's got a week to get packed. And I looked around her house and I thought, this is what my house looked like a week out. And I was so stressed in that, but she was cool as a cucumber, not a worry in the world or anything. I'm like, she was absolutely sweet lady, very, very sweet. She actually happens to be from the town up in Taranaki that I spent the longest time living in New Zealand. I spent 6 years living in that little town where I went to high school, left there to go and join the Air Force. And so she's from that town and from that whole Taranaki region. And so she's moving back to that region, which is kind of exciting. We found out from her she's been in the place for 5 years. We found out about the situation with the water and the power and the gas and everything else. And it's just it was a great little place. It's light and it's bright. The front of the house faces west. And of course the sun comes around the north. So east will be on the back and then the sun will come around the end of the house and into the front yard. As the day, so all day sun, very light and bright inside, and airy. She had windows and doors open and that to allow the breeze through, which was good because it was a beautiful day, and having the breeze go through the house was nice. It helped air it out. It's only got one bathroom, which is the downside. But I thought, how often am I going to have guests here? And it's got a separate toilet. So you can get to the toilet by going into the bathroom or going into the laundry. And I said to my mum as we walked through the laundry and through the toilet into the bathroom, I said, this reminds me of Nana and Papa's house. Because at Nana and Papa's house, you had to walk into the laundry, which also happened to have the shower in it. But that was, walked into the laundry and you had to walk through the toilet to get to the bathroom, unless you went through the kitchen. But I said, it kind of reminds me of Nana and Papa's house for having to do that to get to the bathroom. So that's not a problem. It's got a sliding door on each side, got little hooks on them. That's not a problem. So that was kind of cool. But there was a lot of space in the house. It was not a large house, but it's a very comfortable feeling house. It had a good vibe about it. The rooms were good sizes. Already picked out which room's going to be the office. There's one that faces out the front and is the smallest of the 3 rooms. And it's got this nice big window that looks out onto the street, although there's this big green tree in front of it. And so I said to the property manager, I said, if I'm going to make that room my office, that tree's got to go, or it's got to be trimmed down low enough that I can see the street when I'm sitting at the desk. And it's kind of a busy street too. And there's a bus stop, like you go down the driveway and there's the shelter for the buses right there. And the bus happened to come along, so I already know which number bus I have to go and look at for the route to see which one I need to catch to get to the downtown area. Distance-wise from my mum and dad's place, it is a 10-minute car ride. It's about an hour walking, but if you've got a push bicycle, it will be about 15 minutes from my mum and dad's because of the way that you would come through the back way and over the tracks. because it's not far from this place to get on the cycling tracks that go up and down the coast here. So that would take about 15 minutes if I did the tracks, which I thought that's not too bad. I can handle that if I can get my directions right. Because I will tell you this, I suddenly realized today what my issue has been since I got here. I'm all upside down and back to front and topsy-turvy, because in the north, the sun goes east to west via the south. So the northern hemisphere, your south is your sunny side of the house, is where you get your sun all day, on the south side of the house. In New Zealand, it's the north side, and that's what's been making me crazy, because every time we go to leave the place, and of course the sun's over there, I'm thinking, oh, we're going to be heading south. And no, we head north. Why are we heading north? Aren't we supposed to be heading south? We are heading south. That's north. That's south. That's west. That's east. So a little confusing. I've finally figured out what it is. My orientation is screwed up right now. And usually I'm pretty good at sensing direction. It's wiped out right now. So I have to work on that. And then after we had seen, and then we talked with the property manager, we spent some time talking with the tenant. We talked with the property manager as well. Both of them had really good things to say about the owner of the house. And the owner lives up in Auckland, and he happens to be coming down for Christmas, so into the area for Christmas. So he's going to stop by the house and do some work on the house to get it ready for the next tenant to go in. And it's not going to be available till December 31st. I'm like, yes. I found out today that the ship with my container on is due to arrive in Tauranga, not Wellington, but in Tauranga around January 2nd-ish. And that same day it's going to get put on, according to the itinerary, it's going to get put onto a train that same day and sent down to the depot here in Wellington, where it'll do all the customs clearance and all of that. And it should arrive around the 6th, January 6th. So I'm sort of like, okay, so mid to late January is when I'm going to get my stuff. We got this covered. Will be when it gets delivered, which is fine. So yes, we looked around the property. There's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done in the yard, but that'll all be taken care of before I move in. Look, I'm already saying I move in. So I'm going to put the paperwork through and see what happens with that, because it felt good. It's a good location. Sometimes I thought it might have been a little isolated, but then the property manager was telling us about some of the neighbors that lived in the area as well. And so I'm like, okay, so I've got a good neighborhood, and if I can be out on the front porch in the afternoons or the evenings, you get people walking by, say hi to them as they walk by, that sort of stuff, and have furniture up on the front porch there. This is where I'm going to be living my porch light life, on my front porch, which is going to be awesome. The master bedroom opens onto the front porch as well as the living room. So we're asking the tenant there about little quirks on the house and stuff. And she was saying that fireplace is really good. So for gas fireplace, she says it will pump the heat through the house. She says you don't need to worry about that. And she said who she had the power and the gas with. I forgot to ask about the internet. I forgot that piece. But it's a very, like I said, light and airy and bright house. I could be happy there. So I think I'm going to put the paperwork. I'm going to talk with Mum and Dad over an ice cream right now and talk about it. And maybe by the end of today, we'll put the paperwork through to apply to be a tenant in that house. So I'm kind of excited. But anyway, and then we went and drive past a second one, but it was on a very windy road that's very hilly, and there's no pavements. I suddenly realized there's no pavements. It was a 2-story, but the garage is underneath and the house sits on top. So all the living areas upstairs, you've basically there's no grass in that house. This house I saw today that we walked through, there's a lot of grass that needs to be mowed. I'm like, okay, we're going to have to get a lawnmower and a weed whacker. And yeah. But the second house, we did a drive-by because they don't have any appointment times that suit me, that work with my schedule, because they're morning appointments. And I really don't want to have to take time off work to go look at this place. But I've already kind of in my head crossed that one off the list. The area it's on a windy road. There's no pavement to walk on. So you're putting your life in your hands walking if you're not on the pavement. So the other place, the tenant was telling us, just go out the driveway, go left, and you'll end up on the beach. And I'm like, that works. Because that's kind of the way you've got to go to get on the biking trail anyway. So it looks like, so we may have found a place, fingers crossed. I'll keep you posted up on that. And let's see, I do have some reflection questions for you though. Let's see. What qualities make a place feel like home to you? Is it the space itself, the location, the energy, or something else entirely? And what was really cool is that this woman that we had, um, so funny. She was hilarious to talk with. I can't remember. Oh no, her dad was Russian, and I can't remember what the second one was, but his from his side of the family, she gets Russian, and I think she said Danish, but I'm not 100% sure on that. On her mother's side, she's Maori and Scots. And I was like, that is so cool. What a cool makeup. But she said she worked on the energy of the house a lot to get it to where the energy of the house is. So I don't know what she did. I don't know, but it's just got a very good vibe about the place. And I liked it. So I think we might apply for it. Okay. So anyway, back to the questions. How do you balance convenience, comfort, and connection to nature when deciding where to live? Well, like I said, this is just a short walk to the beach, a short walk to the biking trails. The biking trails go through these beautiful nature areas. So yeah, there'll be very much a lot of connecting. This place has got a lot of outside area for grass and gardens, and so we could work with that. What role does environment play in supporting the kind of life I want to create next? I think it plays an important role. I like taking care of the environment, and I'm actually learning a lot from my parents on different things around the house that you can do that saves time and energy, but also saves on the chemicals that you use to clean your house, and even dealing with the trash. Learning a lot with that. Oh, that was one thing this place had. It had this big pile of mulch in the back corner of the backyard. And I would say for the last 5 years that this woman's lived there, that's where all of her lawn clippings have gone. I asked them, they said, yeah, that'll be gone before then. Number 4, when have I said no to something that looked good on paper but did not feel right? And what did the experience teach me about trust and alignment? Looking at these houses online, like the one that we went and had a look at, that was about a 10-minute walk from my parents' place. Total bad vibe. Walked in, dark, claustrophobic. The photos showed that it was light and bright and airy, and I thought, this is great, and had beautiful yards in it. We get there, the yards are non-existent, the gardens are non-existent, and the house was dark and creepy and claustrophobic. Yeah, that one looked good on paper, but it didn't look good. So I went with an open mind of to what to expect in this one. Yes, it looked light and bright, but how true was that? And it was actually, the pictures was when the house was empty before she moved in. So the pictures were taken 5 years ago. And it still pretty much looks like that if you take all the furniture out. So that was a good one. So anyway, that's it from me. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening around 6 p.m. Pacific. I'm trying to remember. Oh, it's going to be a quick one tomorrow because my brother and sister-in-law are coming over because we're having a birthday lunch to celebrate my birthday and my mum's birthday, joint celebration. It's going to be good. We're having banana cake for our wedding. Birthday cake is going to be banana cake. Yum. Homemade banana cake too. Anyway, catch you guys tomorrow evening. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening.